How's it going today, guys? We have something very serious to talk about today. There is a YouTuber named Mandrake Calvin. He has around 50,000 subscribers and makes videos ranging from Elliot Rodgers to other tragic events mainly focused in the USA. And if that was all Calvin was up to on the internet, we wouldn't be making this video. The problem stemmed from a Discord account. Who would have thought? When content creators make Discord accounts, there's a fine line that they must take. Interacting with viewers, talking to them, but you yourself as the creator are the responsible party. You must make sure everything in there is in line, nothing weird is happening, or it could all fall onto you. But sometimes a different thing happens. The very creator that makes this Discord is the creep themselves, and that would be Calvin. It has recently been exposed that Calvin has been talking to multiple underage people on his Discord accounts, having them lie about their age, send him disturbing pictures, and worst of all, traveling over state lines to meet somebody not the right age, and then some very disturbing things ended up happening. This is what Calvin Mandrake has been up to, and he's been working very hard to sweep all of this under the rug. From my knowledge, the Discord is no longer active, or he's not promoting it as much. But it's a little bit too late for all of that, especially since Calvin has already shown his true colors. So let's go ahead and jump into this video, and I'll detail you some of the more serious accusations that Calvin is facing. This information was founded by one of my great viewers. They contacted me on a live stream and let me know that they had sent me an email. And as I went to check it, I immediately knew this was bad. Everything that they told me was just despicable, disgusting, and I just want to read you the headline that they sent me because I think it's very valuable. This is what they have to say about Calvin. Calvin has this habit of pouncing on anyone that joined his server, as long as it was a girl, and they would get him to send pictures of feet and things like that to him. It didn't matter how old the person was. He would ask them to say they were 18 and deliberately add the 18+ role for him, a common practice that most predatory people on Discords take. They say, hey, just lie about your age, and then they make an 18+ role for these people to be able to chat and communicate and send degenerate things to them. And Calvin was completely for this. I mean, the only reason I could imagine he had a Discord server was to do things like this, to gain an audience, pull people in, and then take advantage of them. And you can see proof of this right here. Wait. How old are you? Calvin says. Okay, wait, I should have asked that before. Feet pics. Well, no doubt, Calvin, you definitely should have, because it definitely is telling on your character. You're willing to exploit people, and then you ask for the age. You know, as a content creator, you have to be responsible. You can't just be asking for these kind of pics and then ask for the age. This isn't an 18+ server, and it was never marketed as one. But then Calvin goes on to say, okay, but I did things to them. You can use your imagination there. I don't think you should, but I guarantee you understand what he's implying. Okay, just tell everyone you're 18. And that's not going to work now, Calvin, because it's been exposed that they're not, and you're taking advantage of them. So Calvin then says, thanks, do me a favor, and change your age in your bio to 18. This is a common behavior by this Calvin Mandrake guy. He comes in, he meets these people, he gets nasty stuff off them, and then he's like, I want you to change your age. I want you to continue my lies for me. But fortunately, that's not the case, and he ended up getting exposed. I just get worried, this is what Calvin has to say, I just get worried because this YouTube thing is like the only thing I have in my life. And if I lose that, I genuinely don't know what I'm going to do. Sorry, I'm ruining the mood. This is a tactic that Nova Online likes to employ. He likes to pretend to be a sad boy, and it draws these younger people in, teenagers who truly feel like they can change this person, not understanding at the moment they're the ones being manipulated, as this older 21, 22-year-old man is taking advantage of their innocence. So he'll spam, I'm sad, I'm upset, hoping that somebody will come along, say, hey, what's wrong, Calvin? And then he can start talking to them and get the pictures and just spread his degeneracy. And I want you guys to consider this. These are the actions Calvin is taking when he says that the only thing he has in the world is a YouTube account. This is his main passion. This is all he has in the world. But still yet, he's willing to use this platform that he has been given by his fans and viewers to take advantage of those same people. If this was truly your biggest passion in the world, something you cared about, well, you wouldn't be committing actions like this. In my opinion, this is all a ploy of Calvin's. He likes to claim that his YouTube is his biggest priority, it's his main love in his life, but he's using it to direct these people into his Discord, where he then can do his main passion, and that's spread his nasty ideas to other people. It just doesn't stop here. You've got to understand that Calvin would bring younger people into Discord channels and watch videos on a certain P-Hub site with them. If you guys know about the White Bowser story, there's a lot of similarities here, a lot of red flags that remind me of it. But let's go ahead and move on to when Calvin decides to tell one of the people on his server that he has committed a very bad crime. Now, I'll say, in Calvin's state, the age of consent is 16. I don't really think that matters too much. I still think what he did, no matter what the age of consent is in his state, is wrong. But at the same time, Calvin decided to travel over his state lines to meet up with the girl who was of the age of 16. Some things happened, and now Calvin is very, very worried about his YouTube status and his career, because what he did could actually be considered very predatory behavior, if you pick up what I'm saying. So let's go ahead and read this. Man, do you think I'll get in trouble for doing something with somebody I'm not supposed to? I'm worried if anyone finds out about my ex, or if she finds my channel. Isn't 16 legal in your state? I don't think it matters, but I believe it is. Well, technically, it was in yours. Misting text under the emoji, which he deleted, it wasn't legal in her state. Unless you went to her state. I'm worried sometimes. I did. Right here you can see that he has committed these crimes. This is something that Calvin has done. He's very worried about it being exposed. Sorry about that, Calvin, but we just can't let this slide. And if you thought I was over-exaggerating, which I couldn't imagine why, but if you did, Calvin himself also believes that he is a predator, stating here, I'm not even joking. And the person hits him up with probably the only thing you could say is, well, maybe stop being one. And it's really confusing to me how Calvin can just put all of this information out to random people and then be surprised when it all gets leaked. Like, if somebody was to walk up to you and say, hey, I'm one of the worst when it comes to human beings, please don't expose me, well, then you're probably going to get exposed, because no matter what, there's a lot of people in the world who don't like this kind of behavior. And what's even more disturbing to me is that Calvin understands what he's doing is wrong. He's willingly letting the information out like, oh, I'm so worried about it. But then just a few days later, maybe a month or so, Calvin will hit up people like, hey, everybody, all people in here are 18, right guys? Right? Then somebody else will come in the Discord and be like, no, Calvin, she's 17, let's keep it legal. In which Calvin will say, no, she's 19, which she's obviously not. Calvin has been telling these people to lie about their age for a very long time. So yeah, this person calling him out is 100% in the right. It's actually kinda wild that this Calvin guy never once hid his predatory actions. Calvin is a true monster. It doesn't even just stop at Discord channels. It doesn't just stop at taking advantage of his audience. He also is preying on his sisters, or at the very least, is attracted to them. In this one comment, this guy who's leaping lemur maxing, no, my sisters aren't hot. You sound like you would do it if they were. This person says he would, which we don't have screenshots prior to all of this, but that makes me imagine that Calvin has talked about this a whole lot. If they were hot and emo, well, thank goodness that they're not, Calvin, or some very disturbing things would probably have been going on in the household. Honestly, I'm not a pred, but whenever I date a girl, I fantasize that she's my sister. And this is in my opinion, but the Calvin Mandrake household should probably have a few discussions with their son and his interest in his sisters. And not, that's bad enough, but he's also like thinking about when they were younger as well. This Calvin Mandrake guy, just from the few screenshots that we've received, is probably one of the sickest, most disgusting YouTubers that I've ever came across. And I've covered some degeneracy on this channel. And I'm sure you guys are wondering, what does Calvin have to say about all of this? What does the Mandrake himself have to say? Well, just like all predators who get caught up on Discord, everything was a lie. Everybody was lying about this story. Completely ignore all of the text messages that Calvin himself sent, all of the disturbing things that you have just listened to. Please ignore all of that and just listen to him. Everyone else is a liar, which would have been a little bit easier to believe if you wasn't 100% down with all of these conversations. You were participating in them, and by the looks of it, a majority of the time, you were the one talking about the nasty stuff, trying to get nasty stuff sent to you. And whether all of these people were lying, I don't think you can take those comments about your sister back, and above all else, you did travel over state lines to commit a crime. But yeah, guys, I think that's enough for the video today. I know it was a shorter one. I just had to expose all of this to you because I couldn't believe my eyes as I was reading it. And besides that, we really don't have much information since the Discord, I don't believe, is active anymore. But if Calvin Mandrake wants to put his side out, I definitely think he needs to release a response video. I think that is the bare minimum of what he should do. But yeah, I'm perfectly down for it, and if he does that, I will be here and I will expose it all for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, avoid all seals, or at least any with the first name Calvin. Use the new hype feature, leave a comment as well, and I'll catch you guys next time.